we're finna do this and we're finna do that has now made it into the dictionary with this it's spelled Finna, and the definition is used for fixing to in informal speech and in representations of such speech. I'm finna do the biggest show of my life. That's little Nas X. He joked about that before going on stage. That's the example. We could have done a verses with this one, but I suspect you might land on the same side on this. Joyelle, I see you're leaning in. Are you for or against finna?
Being in the dictionary?
Being a word, yes. Being a word that is, now in the lexicon.
I mean, the Urban Dictionary, sure.
No, it's in Webster's regular.
Sure.
Finna.
I mean, yeah, sure. What?
Yeah. Lamont?
Care.
At some point, I had to take a long and hard think about this. So at some point, I feel like we're being made fun of.
Right.
I get why you think that you should, but I don't get why you actually would and did. Because whenever it's done by somebody else, even at the suggestion of one of us, most of the times it's done wrong. Now, when I grew up on the East Coast, we didn't say that. But when I moved and went to high school in the Midwest, they said fixin' and fitna, Fitna.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like you taking it upon yourself, whoever this is, and putting it in there, I feel like you did it wrong anyway. Is you put in there how you thought it should be spelled and the context and all that. I don't think, I'm not really for slang terms in the dictionary and colloquialisms because they're just that. They're slangs. They're deviations on common speak. Now you can do a common speak deviation dictionary. But don't try to pass me off and be like, oh, this is from the Black lexicon of the.
No, it's in the regular. It's regular.
No.
So let
I'm
me just
saying
say,
when they give you the etymology, you try to pass it off.
It didn't say black. It said it just gave an example.
Yeah,
but
no,
I was in the when
like
conversate made it into the dictionary.
I ain't like that either.
It pissed me off. Like that was my nails on the chalkboard. I'm conversating, and I was like, Lord Jesus, we're going to hell. But I have I've since grown into a different space with this. Language is ever evolving. Who determines what's proper and what's not proper?
Sure.
And if everything is through this lens, and it's much like the monarchy, through this lens of well, this is the due north and this is the proper way to say it, I'm for breaking every rule. I'm for saying all of the trash, all of the language. It's not my natural tongue, my ancestors' natural tongue. My ancestors probably spoke 3 or 4 different languages that nobody's speaking here right now. So who are you to tell me how to conjugate a verb? If I be, we be, you be African, I could conversate and I could fin in and fixin' to do something and eat some scrimps.
All right,
why not?
Let me give you some pushback. All right, so point taken. I receive all of that. However, it's not a new word. You're saying that the pronunciation of a certain region of people, how they say a word that exists, is a new word? That's not a new word.
Every word in America, first of all, American English is the bastard language that is a remixing of proper English anyway. So if the language that we speak here is already a bastard, a Creole version of the Queen's English, why not? I've gone 180 on this. I used to be in the camp of this is an abomination. This is not, and we need to do better. Nah, we don't, because the whole country is a bastard. So let's just.
I know what you finna do. Well,
I'm finna to go to commercial.
Shut your white mouth. That's what you finna do.
I initially had a stomach ache over it, and then I said, "Hey, who invented language?" There are people out there from the Caribbean islands, from Haiti. They speak Creole, which is a form of English. There are people that speak Patois in Jamaica, form of English. They understand one another. They've taken words and twisted them around, and other people can't understand them, but they understand each other. And I think in many ways, Black folk have done a similar thing to this language that we were forced to learn without any books, because we weren't allowed to read and actually learn the proper syntax and everything. Now, when we know better, we do better. So I think everybody should know proper subject-verb agreement. They should know all of the right words. I think it gives us an extra layer of superpower to be able to both have command of this and that. Now, if you don't know that it's, light skinned instead of light skinned did it, but we could play around with light skinned did it. I think that's funny. So, all right. Thoughts.
Right. Okay. To that point, I'm glad you left off right there. To that point, to your point, Professor Hunter, to your point, we can play around with it, but light skinned is not going to be in the dictionary as a new word.
It might.
It should not be.
It might.
You're talking pronunciation and then the appropriation of jargon versus the appropriation of jargon.
No, I'm talking language.
But you mentioned pronunciation.
I did too, but I'm saying language is about you understanding me.
Right.
You know what the hell I mean, right?
Yeah.
So words come into the lexicon because they're used frequently. That's really the how words end up in the dictionary. Frequent use. Yeah.
But also, are we more so talking about grammar as well? Because
what is grammar?
A conjugation. Well, that's what I'm saying. Because
what's grammar?
There are specific words, but then Fidna is fixing to, I am going to. So that is that's a word conjugation that's kind of come out of nowhere.
The contraction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like I was saying, but again, it's a hijacking because in the Midwest, it was fitting to. So you're telling me in this new Fitna definition that it comes from fixing to? Well, I say no. I'm looking through the book and I'm like, no, that's incorrect.
We're arguing
so
over.
I ain't for it.
Over somebody else's plan for you.
I still think we're being made fun of.
Okay, yeah. and so just like everything that gets made fun of, including our rap music, who purchased it? Who made all of them? Who made Jay-Z rich?
Yeah.
Who told you to hate yourself? Who made Puffy rich? Wasn't black people, 70% white boys in the suburbs. So the very grave that you dig for me, be careful, you might not trip and fall into it. I feel like there's an opportunity here. And I want to see the world in a whole different, I don't want to do the typical, let's have it, y'all go ahead with that. Put that in there and see what we do with it. That's how I feel about it right now. And this is a reversal for me. I have evolved into this position, Lamont, because 10 years ago, I'd have been right out there with you like, this is some bull crap.
No, I'd be in favor in a lot of the updates.
I'd be in favor? That is not proper grammar. That's not proper grammar.
Well,
right.
Because of my it's in the speech and dialect. Well, go ahead, Joelle. I'll save it. I
just remember when it was the conversation about Ebonics, and I got into it with one of my friends in school, and she was like, it was such a passionate argument. She was like, Joelle, it's the language of our people. And I was like, is it though? I don't know that it is, because people speak slang across the board. So why are we attributing slang just to black people? That just didn't make any sense to me.
But we create... When you start seeing white women on MSNBC talking about something on fleek, and then we cancel that word because it's like, now it's a problem. Y'all using our words in vain, and where the money reside and Mary Had a Little Lamb, all that stuff goes into popular culture, right? Into what, when we say popular, we mean mainstream. And all I'm saying is it's time for us to commodify. You go ahead and put that in the dictionary, go ahead and do that as I watch, Robin Fenty now trademark Fenty hair because she's about to make another $1 billion. And at every turn, what I'm saying is I'm okay with embracing everything that comes out of our mouths, out of our brains, out of our creativity. And I'm not going to diminish any of it. I used to be on that fence of pointing my finger, we can do better, and these people. But at the end of the day, America's nothing but a bastard nation. Our language is a bastardization of the Queen's English. And so why can't we remix the remix language and do what we want with it?
I'm all fine. I'm all fine with all of that. I'm fine with that. I'd be fine with that.
You finna be fine?
But trying to pass it off like it's a new word and put it in the dictionary like you're doing somebody a favor, or like this is an update, or they say this a lot. So let's put it in there. Nah.
Who cares? I'm tired of living my life through what somebody else thinks about me. Go ahead and do that. Put it in the dictionary and then watch what we do with it. I don't care. I don't give a damn. Right. We can't.
But we done already did with it. We done did with it.
We done did it.
Yeah, we done did
Lamont, it's done, been done.
That's what
damn it.
Done.
Ben done did it.
Yeah, Ben done did it.
Ben done did it. 866-801-8255. What y'all think? Go ahead, Joelle. I'm sorry.
There was a word. My mother worked at University of Medicine and Dentistry in Newark for the longest in labor and delivery. And she said that when the girls were having babies, they would say, how much my baby wore. WORE, how much my baby wore. And that blew her mind. And all the like doctors were like, what does that mean? And apparently they figured out some past participle of way that is war. And that was back in the 90s.
And it's probably right. It's probably right. But see, I say that facetiously, but I'm also serious because I used to study language as well. So let's go back to Ebonics. This is where I'm glad you had brought that up. So when that came out, it got hijacked because the concept was regarding ebony phonics, was regarding speech patterns. It was not regarding slang.
Right.
But it got hijacked because the media was too lazy and they took, then it became black talk. And this is what y'all say.
But they don't understand it, right? So this is what I'm saying. If we have an opportunity to have conversations among ourselves, like when you were little Pig Latin, we were mastering that so that we could have another language. I wanted to learn Swahili, didn't, which is a trade language in Africa. And I feel like, at the end of the day, Lamont, everything that we do is through this lens of what's proper. And proper is always, this due north of whiteness. They set the standard, they set the rules, they set the table for what is and what isn't. And I'm saying, let's turn the tables over.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
Well, yeah, I said, I'm with you. If you put the book out, when they do it, I guess that's I wasn't clear on that.
I see what you're saying. Okay.
I wasn't clear on that because the point I was moving on was, as far as speech pattern, English is the leftovers of a dead language. Like it's the last of the Romance languages that were taken from Latin. Latin is dead. Blah blah blah. Battle of Hastings, 1066. Do your Googles. But the speech patterns with I be and I do be, like verb subjugation, that the way we learned it, that's not natural. It's not natural for the African tongue. The African tongue, it travels through DNA, like speech patterns that when we grew up and they say D's and dat, and they say you're doing it wrong. Okay, well, you don't say that to a French person who cannot by nature pronounce TH. It's not even in their language. But to us, we were doing it wrong. So that's why I said I don't have a problem with.
Okay. You just want us to control the narrative.
The narrative.
As long as we know it, if we know the history, we know the code, then I'm fine with it. But don't sit there and be like, y'all say Fitna a lot. We're going to put it in the book.
Also, because Fitna, it's like, it could be Fitna, it can be spelled a butt, Fitna, Fitna, F-I-D-N-A. So who's saying F-I-N-N-A is the new word? Like, we all say different ways.
2021. Get out of here.
I got you.